Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is Friday, and we have the most electrifying mailbag segment in all of sports entertainment coming up. We got 4 fantastic questions from you, Cowboys Nation. We are going to attack those individually in the most unique mailbag segment in the land. Plus, we have a all-important update on one of the most important Dallas Cowboys in the roundup. So we'll get to that as well. What's good with your bomb squad?
Bomb squad!
How we doing this morning? How we doing? Mavs fans, I guess I adopted them. So, hey, it's all right. It's just game one. You know, they were down a few other series after game one. I think they will bounce back. We will see. That's a good Boston team over there, but I sure as hell hope so. Man, I already had it in my head that the Mavericks were going to walk away with the Larry O'Brien trophy, just because I'm hoping it puts more pressure on these Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The Mavs go down in game one. Hopefully they'll bounce back after that. Oh, yeah, you can call into the show today. It is Fan Friday. It's about y'all. 351-999-3787. Should be a pretty smooth, straightforward show. Like I said, after the roundup, we're going to jump right into a handful of these questions that we got, mostly from Twitter and one here on YouTube. So, yeah, you guys want to call in, that's fine. If not, we'll have a pretty straightforward show for you guys. So, Mavs fans, how we feeling? Just out of curiosity, are you guys, all right, it's cool, it's just game one, or are you a little nervous more than any other game one losses? How we feeling over there, man? Professor O said, I blame the Mavs loss on them selecting Pat Mahomes to do the promo instead of Dak. What was that about? They didn't even have to use Dak. They could have used Troy Aikman, to combat Tom Brady. But weird, Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what that was about. What's up, Trill? How you doing, brother? And Esteban said Mavs lost game one in 2011. Okay, that's true. One of the best, in my opinion, finals in the last probably 20 years. Really like that one. Toxic said, not going to lie, this is the best Celtics team since the 80s. That's a tough team. That's a really, really tough team. We'll see how they bounce back in game two. Hopefully they do. What's good with you, Brandon? All right, let's get into this thing. We got a good show lined up for you.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. We've received a lot of updates on, I feel like the Cowboys got 17-11 ACL injury recoveries that they're dealing with right now. But the most important one is Trayvon Diggs. We haven't really talked a whole lot about Diggs because he's been away since week 2 of last year. But we're talking about an all-pro cornerback the Cowboys will be getting back next year or this upcoming season. So we can't just scoff over that. But he is coming off of the ACL. Michael Gelkin had a chance to sit down with him and asked Diggs if he would be ready for the start of training camp. And he said, quote, maybe not. But I'm feeling comfortable. I feel good, end quote. McCarthy was asked about bringing him back, and he said, quote, "We'll respect the timeline, but Trayvon looks good. He goes a little later in the day in his rehabilitation workout than the other three. He's in a good spot. I just talked to him a little bit here Monday during the physicals. As far as when he gets back, let's be honest. We're going to be very cautious with those guys. We're not going to put them out there too soon. Better later than too fast." I like to hear that. We have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to Cowboys players recovering from ACL. At least I do. I can't speak for everybody. I have PTSD when it comes to Cowboys players recovering from ACL injuries their first year, because it hasn't always worked out. Hopefully, McCarthy they say they're learning from this and they bring these guys along. Now, I don't expect Diggs to be out the first half of the season. Like, I don't expect him to start the season on PUP, but I do expect him to start training camp on the PUP list, and we'll see where it goes. Probably all those guys, and we're going to talk about one of them here later on in the show. But I'd imagine Diggs will be ready to go by the time they hit mid, and that could be way sooner, but mid training camp. And yesterday we talked to Pat, and Pat was like, "Hey, this is going to be the longest training camp in the history of the franchise," which is wow. I didn't realize that. So they'll be in Oxnard for over a month. Then they'll come back and they'll do like 2 weeks here in Dallas, and they'll start the season. And look, you don't need to rush him back. This is an all-pro guy. He's been around the league for about 4 years now. So let him kind of work his way back here. And once he gets on the field, let him be an asset and not a liability. I don't expect him to be a liability, but you bring him back too soon, he can't. We've seen that happen. Terrence and Gallup and guys like that. Tristan is another one. Blake Jarwin. All these guys were recovering from ACLs and didn't quite get back to themselves immediately. I agree. No rush. Let's let Trayvon Diggs heal a little bit, man. Let's let him heal a little bit. Put him on the shelf until, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put him on the shelf until after the bye. Like, we can't discredit 8-9 games. You know, that's a lot of games. And I had mentioned this, I think, weeks ago. Now we're talking about Eric Scott. We're talking about Kalen Carson. Man, that's like, no offense to these kids. That's food early on for some of these quarterbacks. So obviously, if he's like literally not ready, then he ain't got a choice. But if he shows that, hey, I'm good by the start of the season or maybe a little after, fine. But I don't know, man. 7 games is a lot of games. And then we're playing catch up later. So it all depends how he's feeling. All depends how he's feeling. I don't want to rush him back in camp. That's all I'm saying. Don't rush him back in camp. What's good with you, Nick? Should J. Lou can't play out there. That's why I brought up Eric Scott, and I ain't saying can't, but he's not going to. I don't think they're going to move Jordan Lewis on the boundary. I think Jordan Lewis is your nickel guy. So you're talking about Nashawn Wright, Kalen Carson, and I say food. I love Kalen Carson, but he's a rookie. Like, it happens. All these rookies get baptized unless you. Boy, who was it? The kid over there in Denver, Pat Surtain or something like that. But even Diggs got baptized a few times in his rookie year, you know. So it's tough. It's a tough situation, especially when you look at the schedule. You would hope Diggs is going to be ready. I hope he's going to be ready. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm. Now, Knicks, you go get me Stephon Gilmore. Now, D-Shiv, I put him on the shelf. As long as you want to put him on the shelf. Go get me Diggs, and now we talking. But right now, you're kind of putting yourself in the corner where you're going to need him out there. You're going to put yourself in the corner. All right, let's go ahead and attack these questions in the most electrifying mailbag segment in the lane.
Shock the system. It's time!
It's time.
It is time for
The most electrifying move.
All right, scumbag, pay attention!
attention! It's time for mail call!
You've got mail.
Shouts out to everyone who participated in this week's version of Mail Time. PTI, baby. This first one comes from Kaiser Sose's uncle, or drunk uncle, aka P. Pfizer. He says, why does Mike McCarthy's offense excel during the regular season, but falter in the playoffs? A trend since his days with Green Bay. So I'm not sure if you guys remember, there was a few months ago, right after the season, I did some digging on why have the Cowboys been coming out of the playoffs so slow? Like, what is the issue? And I went back to the McCarthy days in Green Bay and found out, oh, this is a reoccurring theme, even with McCarthy. Not only is it a reoccurring thing doing that, another thing that's reoccurring, and my answer to this, Kaiser Sose's drunk uncle, aka P5, is being one-dimensional. I believe it directly ties into, by the time they get to the playoffs, they are one-dimensional. Now, this was the graphic I had showed a long time ago after the playoffs. Look how slow the Cowboys get off their starts. 6 points per game in the first half of the 3 losses. 0 points in the first quarter of any of them. And then obviously we talk about the one-dimensional part. 53 yards per game from running backs. So I went back and I looked at post Super Bowl Mike McCarthy's offenses in Green Bay. Take a listen to this in regards to the run game. In 2011, no running back had more than 8 carries. In 2012, a guy by the name of DeJuan Harris led the team with 11 carries. He was the only running back to carry the ball, by the way. 2013 and 14, they did lean into Eddie Lacy, but that loss to Seattle was more of them just choking it away because, according to a lot of Green Bay fans, they were upset with McCarthy being extremely conservative and scary, plus he had that onside kick. 2015, their leading rusher had 12 attempts, but Aaron Rodgers threw it 44 times in a 6-point game. 2016, they got waxed by the Falcons. That's what pissed me off about that loss at the crib in Dak and Zeke's rookie year. They go to Atlanta. I think we could have played Atlanta a lot better, or at least kept up with them. They got waxed. But if you go look at the beginning of the game, they had 2 rushing attempts in the first 17 plays. So I say all that to say, I know in Dallas, the game plans were garbage, in my opinion. They often relied solely on the quarterback to throw them to victory in all these playoff games. I can't speak for the specifics in Green Bay, but there are similarities between being one-dimensional here in Dallas and being one-dimensional in Green Bay. So, P. Pfizer, I think they falter or they fizzle out because you have to be able to counter. You have to be able to do multiple things in the playoffs. I get it. You have a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You have an MVP candidate quarterback in Dak Prescott. But week in, week out, you're going to get tougher and tougher competition. You have to be able to do a multitude of things. And so far in Dallas, that has not been the case, whether it's him calling the plays or whether it's Kellen Moore calling the plays. So that'd be my answer. What would you guys, I mean, if you, some people may have not just really paid attention to Mike McCarthy's time frame in Green Bay, but what would you say is the reason why the offenses tend to kind of fizzle out in the playoffs here? Still on Boy said the offense is basic. That's why you see the struggles. Peasy said that is wild as hell. Yeah, man. You know, they had 2 years where they kind of leaned into the run game, 13 and 14. And honestly, in 14, they should have been in the Super Bowl. They were onside kick away You recovered onside kick. It hit the dude right in the hands. Hit the dude right in the hands, and they're in the Super Bowl again. Other than that, 8 carries in 2011, 11 carries in 2012, 12 carries in 2015, 2 rushing attempts in the first 17 plays in 2016, and nobody had more than like 5 or 6 carries, but that game got out of hand. And then you look at Dallas. We already know how it is in Dallas. They're horrible running the ball. So that's where I would lean to. Ratio said, and then Dan Quinn just straight up folded. I mean, well, that's a whole nother discussion. Why would a coach like Ben Johnson want to come here? Well, I mean, if he's getting the bag, toxic. I feel like you always miss that point about these players and coaches. Why would anybody want to Dallas? Bro, if they're getting paid, that's why, right? Like Ben Johnson had the opportunity to go, and they have a good team, go coach a terrible team and honestly, I think a worse organization in Washington. He said no. I don't think we're worse than Washington, bro. So if he's getting the money and he has the control of his offense on a good team, I don't think the Cowboys are a terrible spot to come coach. You just have to have the ability to say, put the 2 birds up to Jerry once you get the job. That's all. So, when you say these things, like why would a guy want to come play for Dallas, or why would a guy want to come? I mean, at the end of the day, this is 2024, man. It's more than just, I hate to say it, it's more to a lot of these players and coaches than just, hey, we're going to lift the Lombardi. That's what they want to do. But is this a good place for my family? Do I have security? You got security in Dallas. They keep you for a long time. Can I run my offense? That would be the biggest thing. That's a question mark. Do I have a talented team to set me up for success for another contract? I think there's a lot more to it than just the Joneses suck, which that's fair, right? And then the Cowboys haven't won Super Bowls. That's all. But I get your above the surface sentiment. We suck. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. Jerry Jones and them suck. Why would you want to come here? There's a lot more to it, in my opinion, than that. But this part right here, running back trade, that's the second question by Carpe Omnia, aka Upstate NYDC fan. He says, why does this team value our running back's ability to pass block over their ability to actually run the ball? And with that being said, do you actually think they add to the room if some become available? So first of all, I think there is value into being able to recognize blitzes and pick up blitzes and pass block, right? As a running back, there's value in that for sure. Hell, we saw it last year with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, his ability to grow into a pass blocker helped extend some plays to result in touchdown passes. But yes, the actual running ability is also key. But it's that second question I think a lot of Cowboy fans have really been trying to figure out, right? Do you think they will add another player in this room? And he names guys like Herbert, Sanders, Israel over there in New York, or anyone else. I think they should add to the room. I've been very firm on that. Will they? I don't have confidence in that. But if they do it, I think it'll probably be during the regular season. If the running back room isn't working out, they could pull a wide receiver by committee. Oopsie daisy, right? Oh, we messed up. Gotta go get Amari Cooper. Oh, we messed up. Let's try to get Odell Beckham and T.Y. Hilton. Like that situation could materialize itself sometime during the regular season. I like to get ahead of it. That's just me. And I do think there's some guys out. You name Herbert, Sanders, Israel's a few. But let me give you a curveball. I'm gonna throw a curveball name out here just to get your temperament on here. Kenneth Walker out of Seattle. Whoa, Scott, they will never trade him. They did just draft a running back last year in like the second round, I think it was, right? Second round, third round. Charbonnet, who looked pretty decent in his rookie year. And I know it's a long shot. I'm just trying to think of a guy who's still on his rookie deal, but it has the upside of a high-end RB1. They have a new offensive coordinator. He's kind of, been hurt a few times here and there. Not enough for me to scare me away. But you may, there's a new coach, right? They don't have the coach that drafted him anymore. I feel like there might be some kink in the armor to be able to do something over there. But why Kenneth Walker? I think Kenneth Walker is one of the most dynamic dual threat running backs in the league that isn't talked about enough. And maybe because he does get dinged up here and there, which is why you put him in a duo or committee approach. But I think he easily would come in here right now, and be your best running back by far on a rookie deal. So he's going into his third year. So you'd have him as year 3, year 4. And you know how I feel, recycle these guys. But I think he's such a dynamic player. It's worth the 3rd, 4th round pick that it may take. And maybe I'm being cheap on that, but I'm not really trying to go higher than that with a running back. I think it'd be worth it to try to help you get over the hump. And I would look at Kenneth Walker as a hump type of talent because I do think you need to complement this pass game with a dynamic run game, or at least a dynamic player in the run game. So that's my curveball there, Kenneth Walker. And I get it. It's an NFC team. They may not even want to do it. He is a dynamic player. So maybe they'll say, oh, you want Kenneth Walker? Well, we need 2. And now we out of here. Has he been dinged up? He has been dinged up, which is why I personally think that would knock his value down. And if you can get him for cheap, he's worth it. He's worth saying, okay, can I get you to be healthy, at the end of the season when I'm going to need you in the postseason? It's really all it is. Kenneth Walker. Swain said Walker and Zeke. Yikes. Yeah, T-Jack, it wouldn't be close. Wouldn't be close. Nick said he think Rico ready. What would ready mean? I mean, Rico just... we'll talk about health. I mean, shoot. That's a guy that always gets dinged up too. Rico is a fine low-end RB2, high-end RB3 in a committee. I'm fine with that, but I'm not really trying to lean on Rico is all. You know what I mean? Snoop. I mean, what about him? I get it as Cowboy fans. We're going to root and we're going to, our guys, but what about Snoop Connor, dog? Like, what has he done to be like, yeah, Snoop? You know what I mean? And I try to make sure we're leveled and measured here and not get too crazy. But if we're throwing Snoop Connor's name out there, I just have a legitimate question. Like, what is it? Like, why? What or who are we trading for a running back? So, Gregory, if you just popped in here, we had this question from Carpe Omnia. He said, with all that being said, who do you actually think they add to the room if it become available? And he added names. My name I would love would be Kenneth Walker. But I don't think that's likely because we just don't do things like that. But I think he'd be a perfect fit here. And I don't think it's out the realm of possibility because they have a new offense coordinator, new head coach. And they drafted a running back in the 2nd round last year. I think 2nd round. Where I think, hey, man, you pick up that phone. Some think the running back room can get it done. Yeah, I just have to see. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I can't fake it, bro. I can't fake it. The running back room doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence just yet. Not yet, man. Not yet. Now, maybe they go out there and maybe in camp things get better and they start looking good and guys are healthy and we have a different game plan and then boom, sign me up. But I'm on a straight up wait and see approach before I make any bold claims about a room that has Zeke, Rico as the top 2 guys with the run scheme that we have. Now you tell me this run scheme improves, I have a little bit more confidence. Other than that, I think it's just kind of a little bit of blind optimism. And you need some of that, right? Like you need some of that. I kind of had a little bit of that with Jake, although we saw something on the field. And I like Royce. I think Royce Freeman could be something, but how are we using these guys, man? Like, how are we using them? Are we just using them like we've been using them the last 2 seasons? I have no confidence in. None. Are we going to lean on Ezekiel Elliott, which it sounds like we're not? I have no confidence. Is this going to be shotgun run in the A gap? Shit, none. I agree, D-Shift. And that's the other thing, right? Like, how much 3 yards in a cloud of dust can you take? There has to be some dynamic ability, and that's why I brought up Kenneth Walker, because Kenneth Walker is dynamic in the run game and he's dynamic in the pass game. And this is no offense saying 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That just means there's a powerful guys. These are guys that are power guys. These guys are going to average 5.2 yards per carry. That's just not going to happen. Zeke hasn't had a 20-yard run, it feels like, in years, and I'm exaggerating, but he's not going to get those time and again, right? Rico hasn't done that time and again. Royce hasn't done that time and again. Who's that spark plug? Deuce is fighting for his life, and we're going to talk about that too. You do need that compliment. It all looks the same back there, and if it all looks the same and you're running the same scheme, the only place I think you upgrade it is the goal line, and that'd be great because you need that. But when you get to the playoffs and you need your run game to complement it, do you have the ability to say, all right, man, our pass game ain't on right now, but I know I can hand it off to this guy. He can go 35 yards for a tutty, 40 yards for a tutty, dump it off out the backfield. He can dominate in this game. I ain't there yet. And again, until you tell me this run game scheme and blocking has improved, I'm definitely not going out on a limb saying this group is the group to get it done. Nope. Trails, what's good, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
What's up with you?
I think we looking at this run game thing the wrong way, man.
How you looking
I
at
feel
it?
like I feel like our problem was stopping the run. So if Mike Zimmer can come in and stop the run, we'll be A-okay. If we give
We're talking about the offense, the offensive run game, not run defense.
Yeah, if we give Turpin some of those pin and pulls, and we can actually big head Zeke on the goal line, I feel like we'll be okay. The pass game was great.
What do Mike Zimmer's run defense? That's why I was confused. You said Mike Zimmer's run defense, but we were talking about the run offense. If your answer is Turpin, pin and pull, brother Trails, we have a problem at the run game. We have a problem in the running back room. The answer is not going to be hand the ball off to Kavontae Turpin on pin and pull. You need to be able to just turn around and hand the ball off on series. It needs to be game plan. Turpin pin and pull is what, once or twice every few weeks. You don't do that multiple times a game. 6-7 times a game. I can't include Turpin in the run game. Is basically what I'm saying. Do you have a take on the running back room with the run game?
I feel like when we had Zeke and Pollard, we put Daddle and Turpin in the Pollard role and still have Zeke, we'll be fine.
Bro, Turpin's not a running back. You can't put Turpin in the like I think we're discrediting Pollard. Pollard actually was a running back. He ran between the tackles. He was one of the best between the tackle runners when we actually was able to block it a little bit in 2022. Turpin's not doing that. Turpin's going to get the jet sweeps, right, and the pitches every here and there every few games. So when you keep bringing up Turpin to do it, I just find it interesting. But Rico Dowdle, he gets hurt. He's been every single year. He's been a liability because I can't count on a guy that's always hurt and he's a liability out there.
You said Turpin wasn't a running back.
Turpin's not a running back.
When he played in the league before he came to the NFL, I'm pretty sure he was a punt return, kick returner, running
wide
back,
receiver.
And a
Turpin, Kavontae Turpin is not an NFL running back.
So is Deuce Vaughn one? Because he's my size.
It's looking like that's a possibility where he may not be. They're trying to find out, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. But Deuce Vaughn has running back abilities, but maybe they don't trust him to be a full-time running back. But that's a discussion we'll put a pin in.
Also, I think that with Cooper Beebe being between the two Pro Bowlers that we have, I think we can actually run the ball straight up the middle again. He might not be Travis Frederick, but he a guy and he gonna move some people.
I agree.
So I feel like the run game really isn't gonna be the problem because our pass game is crazy. And the problem with the run game for me last year was we couldn't run the ball in the goal line. So
that's it. That's the whole problem for you with the run game was you couldn't run the ball at the goal line.
Right.
Okay.
But you have a blessed day, my brother.
Yes, sir. I think there's a lot more problems than that, bro. There's a lot more problems than that, man. I don't know how we could pop on the film and be okay with the run game between the 20s. It was one of the worst in the National Football League. Not even close. Like, that has to get fixed, man. Because guess what? If that, and I bring it up, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, I don't care. If that looked like San Fran's, and even I'll go Seattle, and LA, and Miami, and all these teams that have legitimate schemes, I can give a damn who's blocking and who's running the ball. Seriously. But it hasn't looked like that. And now we're saying, and I do think Cooper Beebe is going to be able to move guys and things like that. But now it's like Cooper Beebe is going to be the catalyst, the hump player to take a stale running scheme from poor to championship. Guys, come on, man. Come on, right? Like, there are so many other things that we have to be better at to not rely on a rookie to put that pressure on him. And if you're not going to upgrade the talent in the backfield, you have to upgrade the scheme. Have to. D Shift, what's up, man?
All right, what's going on, Scott? Man, so I'd say I put the question like this: like, how far away do you think we are from actually having what type of talent, more or less, do we need to actually have somebody that can make the running game more of a complement again to the passing game?
You need a dynamic player. If you're not going to change the scheme, you have to have a dynamic player in that backfield to complement these dudes that you can at least count on.
So and then, because a lot of our passing game, of course, is driven by, you got some great players. You got Dak, you got CD, you got Ferguson, and you got to, complement the guys. One could argue you need another wide receiver, but when a dynamic player, how hard is that to pretty much come across? Like, what do you?
I don't think it's.
And by dynamic, I don't think you're saying like
you passed on all of them in the draft.
I don't think you're saying Saquon.
No,
I don't think you're saying right.
If you get Saquon,
So,
that would have been fine. I mean, you'd have to pay a lot of money, but if you get a player like Saquon, awesome. But no, I'm not saying you have to get, that shit. Wait a minute. I think Kenneth Walker has the ability, but he just hurts sometimes.
Okay, so you're just saying that we're just a little too slow, and we don't really have, too much nos.
I don't think we have a compliment to the room right now. I don't have an issue with Ezekiel Elliott, Rico, and Royce being a part of a stable that is complementary to each other. What is so complimentary in that room? Y'all don't sell me on no damn Nathaniel Pete right now. You don't know, and he talk about an undrafted free agent dude who's probably 6 on the depth chart right now. Let's at least get to camp before you sell me on Pete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't like, because of course the running game was pretty absent in the playoffs, and that was a big part of the struggle every year. So I think that's where most trying to hit on. Like, I think the 1,000 yards can be a little deceiving, or certain stats, or certain juice. I
don't care if a guy has 1,000 yards this year, bro. I will settle with 3 of these dudes at 500 plus a piece or what have you. All I care about is how does it look? Like, what is the how? And is it clicking towards the end of the year? Because nothing over the last 5 seasons or whatever has been under McCarthy gives me confidence to be like, yeah, everything is okay. Because it has never been okay towards the end of the season, whether it be the how or the actual want to run the ball in the postseason. That's why I think rightfully so, I'm skeptical and I need to wait and see how it looks and if these guys individually can overcome a non-scheme change.
And if I'm being non-biased, I'm gonna say like I don't think you're really gonna get to a different of a result because that's not McCarthy's. Like that's not his thing. Like, he can develop quarterbacks great. Like he's great at developing quarterbacks. But when it comes to run game, so you got too many problems going against you. You don't have a coach that specializes in that. You have rookie offensive linemen. You have guys at the running back position. So I don't think we're gonna find that complement. It'll take some drastic things. Even if you brought in like a Saquon, I think it'd be better than what you got from Tony last year. But I don't know. So
yeah,
all right, man. Good talking to you, bro.
Appreciate it. I mean, even Saquon struggled. I'm not saying offensive line is bad, but I thought their scheme was a little better. But even Saquon would struggle in New York. I don't think he'll struggle as much if they have a better offensive line. They have a better O-line. Now, Kellen Moore is calling the plays. I don't know. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts came out yesterday and said 95% of the offense is new. I don't know if Eagle fans really fully understand. Maybe Kellen grew. Maybe his offense is different. But boy, Kellen Moore first year offense with Jalen Hurts. Like Jalen Hurts, good player. I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts is the cerebral player post snap. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He asked for these wide receivers to read the defense and option route it. I need my quarterback to do the same thing. We saw an MVP candidate, an all-pro receiver, struggle with it in like the 4th year of the offense. The first with Jalen Hurts. I don't know, bro. I don't know what Eagle fans, they were celebrating too. Kellen Moore, yeah, I mean, maybe some games it'll work out, man. Maybe 30 points. It'll be, yeah, oh yeah. Kellen Moore, baby. But there's going to be games. Good bit of them. Where I think Jalen Hurts is just going to be taking off. Man, screw this. I'm taking off. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get one more, then we'll get to question 3. What's good, Jack? Welcome back, man.
Yo, what's up, man?
How you feeling?
What's good?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
So, Sky, how you doing? You all right?
I'm fantastic. Ain't heard from you in a while, but hope all is well with you, Jack.
I had some things I had to do. Had to go sit down at school right quick. Had a little issue.
All right.
But we all right. With all due damn disrespect and all the pleasantries out the way, scheme need to change. Coaching philosophy concerning the run game has to change. Tony Pollard, I think, is a better running back than the scheme gave him credit. He did what he could do as far as what he could do in the scheme. I believe that the offensive line will be a couple times better, just due to just how the line is set up. Nobody will be independently on the island for most of the part by somebody who's next to them that has no experience. Every young cat is next to someone that has good pedigree and who has been proven.
Sure.
I definitely think the defensive scheme will have a dramatic change, just because of the way Mike adapts to the game. He's not a one-trick pony. That's the only thing I can really say about Dan. He was a one-trick pony. It was get to the quarterback, stop the running back on the way. And a lot of that, he never adapted. He never said, okay, well, let's implement this. Let's put this here, change this. Some of it wasn't on him because they didn't give him some of what he needed as far as linebacker. I think our secondary will take a leap this year, and that's big if our secondary is taking a leap, just because the presence of our front seven will be different. And yeah, man, let's go damn Cowboys, man.
All right, Jack. I want to touch on what you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to touch on it after the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, that being said, Sky, I bid you adieu. And if ain't nobody got you, Sky, Jack got you. Yeah.
Appreciate you, big dog. Shouts out to you, Jarvis. He just dropped 2 and said,
Super chat.
Skywalker fired up this morning. Hey, appreciate that super chat. I mean, I'm always fired. You know me, Jarvis. I brings the energy, but it's an interesting topic. It is a fun topic. But I wanted to touch on what he said about the secondary. I can't wait for camp. I just really want to see. I think these safeties are going to be the playmakers this year. The corners are going to. It's going to take some adjustment, but we got smart guys. J. Lou, Deron Bland, and Diggs are smart corners that I think will definitely take to Coach Zimmer's nuanced scheme here. But I think the safeties are going to be making a lot more plays under Zimmer than Dan Quinn. And he brought up the front seven. I think the front seven took a hit. No, I know it took a hit, right? You lost 2, I call them quality rotational players on the edge, and then you also your defensive tackle room is diminished. So I do think they're going to lean more on, the chicken and egg conversation, right? Is it the secondary? Is it the front seven? I think the secondary will aid the front seven more. Obviously, you have Micah and D-Law and Sam as your dynamic-ish pass rushers, right? Definitely Micah. But it's not as deep as it once was. The interior is diminished. But I think from a technique standpoint, they'll be more sound, they'll be more disciplined, and the process to getting the turnovers won't be as sloppy. And Zim is high on that. Get your turnovers, but don't get them recklessly. Because if you don't, now you're giving up the big plays, which is why I think you'll see. Don't be surprised, man, if Malik go back, get 3, 4, 5 interceptions. Don't be surprised if Dono is creating multiple sack fumbles and things like that because they utilize him that way. I'm really interested to see these guys during training camp, for sure. Man, Greg, I would love to replace Gilly with Gilly. I would love to do it. All right, let's get to question number 3, and it comes from Get Jacked. Jack on Twitter says, assuming last year's draft class takes a leap or a step in the right direction, how do you see Junior Fehoko and other day 3 picks fitting into this Zimmer scheme? I want to focus on Junior for just a quick second because look, he's got to be the most forgotten player of the 2023 class, right? He has to be. They draft him. We hear the assistant D-line coach talk about, we may bulk him up to put him at 3 tech the next year, but he's got a chance. And I'm like, where? How? He has no chance to get on the field. Not happening. Then they hit him with the, hey, Junior, how you feeling? I'm good, coach. Let me ask you one more time, Junior. How you feeling? Just normal soreness. Oh, word? IR. put his ass on IR. I asked somebody down there, hey, what was that about? Was he really hurt? No. Junior Fehoko was not hurt. But they just need to make a move. Do I think he's a Zimmer fit? Yeah. I think I think from a strong side defensive end, he fits that mold. He was a run guy coming out, do some pass rushy things, but he was mostly contained, motors hot, strong type of dude. Does that mean though he'll stick around beyond Zimmer? Well, I don't know about that, because we got to see if he even gets on the field with Zimmer like that. And then if Zimmer leaves, you get a new defensive coordinator to be a third one. He may be the odd man out. So do I think he fits? Yep. Do y'all think Junior Fehoko fits? I think there's two questions though, right? Like, does he fit? Sure, he fits. But can he be an impact player in this scheme? Because of how little we got a chance to see him, I think we got to stick a pin in that. Let's get to camp. Let's see this kid kind of year two take another leap. Make some plays. You want to see him flash in preseason so that momentum can carry over in the regular season. Where's he going to play? I hope it's at defensive end. Rockstar. I don't view him as a defensive tackle. Maybe in Dan Quinn's scheme, he like them undersized players. But strong side, LDE type, left defensive end type. Now, the thing is, here's the problem, right? They drafted a guy that can do that. Marshawn Nealon, I think, is a legitimate heir to D-Law. And honestly, we were saying this about Fehoko. We thought, hey, Fehoko can be an heir to D-Law. Wasn't going to be in 2023. Probably wasn't going to be in 2024 because D-Law got the extension. But then they went out and got a guy. This isn't Zimmer's guy. So he has to go out there and show it. Maybe next year's Chauncey replacement, T-Jack. Fair. Tyrone said he and Tyrone a Tyrone Crawford type. Could be. You got to probably got to put on like 20 more pounds. The way they did Crawford was wild. Interesting, Quan. Quan said, Cowboys the only team I know that perpetually has this cycle of drafting players to fit schemes that are on the way out of the building, then wonder why they can't get on the same page. That is, I think that's just something you run into when you have a quality drafting team. Like you have to draft for your scheme. That's for damn sure. Right? But if said coach leaves, the next coach comes in, he may not fit. I think he fits. I do. I don't know that they care for him that much though. Because if he was the next guy, and remember Zim said, I came in here, I watched the film, I took a look at every player. Is Nealon picked? Maybe, maybe not. I feel like Nealon's the next guy. All right, question number 4 as we wrap this thing up. Speaking of the 2024 or 2023 draft class, Drew. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Drew Armstrong on YouTube said, what have you been hearing about the guys in the 2023 draft class? How have they been developing? And do you see any hopeful signs before the team hits Oxnard? Good question. Half of this class is recovering from injury. Right? In fact, your top 3 picks, Mazi Smith, Schoolmaker, and DeMarvion Overshown, all 3, first, second, and third round, are recovering right now from injury. But DeMarvion Overshown, I think, is garnering the most positive buzz because he's bulked up. You listen to most people around the building. Obviously, we have Pat on here every week, so you can hear from somebody that's right there. You listen to other people that are down there. They say, hey, man, DeMarvion Overshown got big. He's put on muscle mass. They're impressed with him now from that standpoint where he was a twig last year. They think he looks like a legitimate. I think Demo even say, I'm trying to play at 240, which to me is about a standard linebacker size nowadays. Now, from a developmental standpoint, well, we won't know until he gets out there, because right now, the development part for Demo is his stature. He needed to get bigger. But there is a player that's developing that's getting a lot of headlines right now, and that's wide receiver Jalen Brooks. Brooks, I think, is in line to have the best opportunity to contribute of the non-top picks. Right? Like, Austin Richards is not going to start. Probably not even going to be your backup tackle. Oh, we'll see. Deuce Vaughn, we'll get to in a second. He's dealing with some things. He's obviously not going to be your top 2 guy. Fehoko, we'll see. But Jalen Brooks is squarely in the middle of a wide receiver 3 battle once they get to Oxnard. He shows some signs, as many signs you can show, at OTAs where, all the writers and insiders down there are like, hey, man, this is going to be a legitimate heated battle. Some people liked what they seen from Jalen more than any other guy. So I think if you're talking about who, this is crazy because he's your 7th round pick. Outside of your top 3 guys, that's a no-brainer, shoe in. Demo's going to get an opportunity. Mazi's likely going to start. And Schoonmaker, when he gets back, he's going to get the opportunity. Outside of those 3 guys, I think Jalen Brooks has the best chance to be a contributor. Let me say that. High end is a bit rough. But to be a contributor weekly. Then the other player making some of those sub headlines, and we've been talking about it kind of throughout the show, is Deuce Vaughn. I can't remember who it was that called in and brought up, is Deuce Vaughn a running back? Because he's my size or something like that is what somebody said. It's interesting that they are giving him slot opportunities. Is it because they're just trying to find a way to get Deuce Vaughn to rock? Or is it because they are not sure if he could have a legitimate role in the running back room down in, down out, or week in, week out? Or is it a combination of both? Hey, we think he can do some slot things, but we'll also get him involved in the backfield. He was supposed to be, in my opinion, and he could be still a juice player. The issue is, I don't know if they fully trust him to be the full-time guy at running back, which is why they're trying some slot things. It's a crowded running back room in the sense of bodies. So, Deuce has a bit of a hill to climb, but talent-wise, I don't think you bring anybody in that has some talent. I think they can compete in this running back room. I'll say that. As for the rest of these guys, Eric Scott, Fehoko, Richards, they've got a long way to go to be contributors this year. I think there's more buzz around those undrafted dudes, TJ Bass, Lipke, John Stevens Jr. than those guys. So the 2023 draft class, I think everybody's looking at Demo and Jalen Brooks. Confidence has soured on Mazi and Schoonmaker, and rightfully so. Those guys have to work their butts off to get our confidence back. That's just real. And then maybe the biggest wild card of them all is Deuce Vaughn. Can Deuce Vaughn be the spark plug that this offense could use? I think Turpin's the spark plug, but from the backfield, can Deuce Vaughn be the guy? Hey, Gregory, they did Deuce dirty last year. They did Deuce so dirty blocking for him, man. Like, Deuce can run the rock. Here's the thing. I get saying, hey, Deuce is not a full-time workhorse NFL. I can understand that. That don't mean he can't be a satellite, part of a committee running back now. That don't mean Deuce can't run the ball. You're not going to count on Deuce to block. You shouldn't count on Deuce to block. And I do think that definitely plays a factor in how you utilize him. That's just facts. But, bro, they would not block for him to save their lives last year. Trill keeps saying run game ain't the issue. Like, how is it not how is it not part of it? Like, there's not one issue. Can we agree with that, Trill? Or are you saying there's only one issue? You've been around, so I don't really got to go over this again, but I mean, I can pull up the numbers. We can pull up the games. In what world is the run game not a part of the issue for the Cowboys in the postseason? In what world? You can't continue to be one dimensional, bro. Like if run game's not the issue, then the Cowboys offenses should have been much better in the postseason under Mike McCarthy, at least early on. I think that is a fascinating opinion there, that the run game is not the issue. When you go look at the postseason lack of success, I mean, hell, you can go all the way back prior, even in the JG era, when the Cowboys have ran the ball just hell respectably, but even really good, they've usually advanced. I don't know, man. That's very interesting. I think the run game is definitely part of the issue. 100%. You cannot go on Super Bowl runs routinely, averaging 50 yards a game from your running backs, bro. You can't do it. Ezekiel Elliott in his prime with the Cowboys after 2018 averaged 2.3 yards per carry. You don't find an issue with that? Okay. To each his own, brother. 725. What's goody?
Sky, what's going on, buddy? This
How
is
you
Mike
doing?
out here in Vegas.
Mike in Vegas. Hey, I'll probably be out in Vegas sometime soon.
Remember, I used to call and it would say MGM on it.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember you.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Because, I never catch you on the live show. I always catch the replay. So I'm always wanting to talk.
That's because what's Vegas? 2 hours, right? Yeah, you in the West Coast, so it's early. It's like 6, 7 o'clock when I come on. Yeah. Right.
Plus, I work graveyard, so I get off at like 6 in the morning. So I'm like going to sleep right when you're starting. So, but either way, man, I really think Deuce is so much better than all the other running backs that we have. I mean, I went back and just watching. I know the highlights. It's easy to watch the highlights, but
his highlights are fun, bro.
I know. He's just so hard to find back there, and he's so patient. He has what other guys don't have. Like, you could have 4.3 speed, but they don't. He has the patience. He finds the holes within those guys, and I just think that I really think that I don't care if BB's a rookie. There's no way he'll ever get blown off the ball like Biotis. He'll be so much better in the run game as a rookie. He's just a bigger guy, just more powerful, and Guyton, we know Dak can, he can live with Guyton's mistakes. Like, he'll see him coming hopefully most of the time. But I just think the run game, and I think Deuce could be, I think Deuce could be damn near, I mean, not an every down back, but I really think he could carry the ball more times than everybody else. I think he could carry 10, 15 times. Like, I just really think Deuce could be, if he could just block. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think the blocking part is what's scary. But from a run standpoint, I'm with you. I think he is a talented runner. I'm with you in that. I still would. I think Deuce is a guy that you have a part of a committee or at the least a duo approach. That's the very least, and that's kind of tough because you don't normally see a 5'5" guy, finishing with 200 plus carries on the season. That's very rare. But I think he can definitely be in the committee. I don't trust us to know how to do it. That's right. The thing. Like, if you put him in with Miami, yeah, they'll probably know how to use Deuce Vaughn. But to their credit, maybe they're trying to explore that. Maybe they're making the efforts in trying to explore how to use Deuce Vaughn. Because in my opinion, right now, he is your quote unquote juice guy. He just isn't, traditionally the size of a running back. He's a satellite back. And most satellite backs are like the juice guys. But the problem is, I don't know. I don't have the belief that they're going to utilize him week in, week out to provide that juice.
Right. Well, I just remember seeing, even like Nate Newton was talking about, when he seen Deuce from behind, he was sitting down on a chair, but he was like, that was a grown man that I seen. He's like, he's just a little bit shorter, but he's not no skinny like Turpin. He's a grown man, just 5'5". And I believe that he can take the wear and tear. I think that he's underestimated, and I really believe that he could take the wear and tear as a running back in the NFL. I think he could carry it 12 times a game. I don't know. I think he's so hard to find, and when I watched him in that preseason, I just knew that 3-4 times he's going to bust one. And I just know he's going to get 15, 20 yards every couple plays because he's so hard to find and he's so patient.
He is so.
I can't.
Here's why he's so unique, because coming out, and we did this with the rating the draft. If you coming out of college, there aren't many running backs you're going to find with a better resume, right? The stats are off the chart. He was literally a workhorse. It's so fascinating because he's so little, but the league, these guys are bigger, faster, stronger. There's other things that play into it. It's interesting, bro, because I'm not fully on that side, but I understand it, because coming out of college, he showed I can be a workhorse. But it's so rare you see a guy who's 5'5", $175, and you're like, yeah, he's gonna tote the rock over 200 times a season. That's a tough task.
Right. I can't get excited about like I go back. I try to look at some tape on even like they try to get hyped up about the undrafted guy Pete, whatever. Like, man, this dude, like, they don't even have no tape.
I don't.
You can't. This tape can't compare.
They're skipping over Deuce for Pete is wild.
For days.
That's wild to me, man. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm not skipping over Deuce for Pete just yet. He going to go out there and beat out Deuce Vaughn before I'm sitting here like, Nathaniel Pete's the guy. Like, come on, guys.
Because like you always say, man, come on. The proof is in their production. Like, man, Deuce done did it, man. He done proved he can do it. I know he can. I remember the one game that he actually got one good carry and one good pass, and I think he got 11 yards on both of them. But I remember the other plays, like you said, like, come on, he got plays where he wasn't even supposed to get yards. It was just time. They were taking time off the clock. Like, come on, those plays that he got the ball in during the season, man, they weren't even meant to make yards. He never had a shot.
If y'all talk about Maurice Drew and Deuce are two totally built athletes. Maurice Drew was in a ridiculous bowling ball. He was like a little tree.
Kind of like MJD.
Yeah, he was a tree stump, man. They not the same. Yeah. But so his comp obviously is his mentor, right? Darren Sproles.
Right.
Darren Sproles and Deuce Vaughn both were like workhorse backs in college, right? Like these guys got a ton of opportunity. But in NFL, it's different. Sproles never had a season where he toted the rock over 100 times, not one. But he caught the ball out the backfield, which is why I think he could play a Sproles type of role. And Sproles was bigger too, by the way. Sproles was he won a $190, almost 200, right? Where Deuce is 175, like that's. But see, his stature, 5'5", 175 is thick, but he would be the most unique dude to ever handle kind of workhorse type of role if that was the case. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but it's like if you put him and Barry Sanders next to each other, he's only like 3 inches shorter. I mean,
hey, now wait a minute.
I just said size wise. I didn't say game wise.
Hey,
but he does have a little.
The story is the story with Barry is Barry's had the thighs of tree trunks.
Right, Earl Campbell of thighs.
Right, yeah. Earl Campbell tree trunks, the stature of me, the size, I should say, height.
Right. Well, I went back and watched the highlight tape and got hyped up on Deuce again, so I couldn't help it.
Nah, I feel you, man. Dude, if you watch Deuce's highlight tapes, you're like, man, what the hell are we talking about here? That's your guy. What are we doing?
MVP.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate the call,
All
man.
right, Scott. Well, I'm glad I finally caught you, man. You have a good day. I love what you do, man.
Thank you,
brother. Keep doing what you do. Have a good one.
You too. Swain said, It is fascinating though, man. A guy who had that many carries in the league, in college, was dynamic, and you don't see those types though do that. Darren Sproles was just as dynamic and a problem. He might have been a bigger problem, bro, at K-State. Sproles was a problem. He got to the league and it was like, yeah, man, You can't tote the rock that many times. But we can throw the ball, get you in space. Satellite guy, excuse me. I think Deuce can be a satellite guy. I'm just waiting to see it. Everybody getting on your ass, Mr. Postman, about that Barry Sanders thing. Politics, which way? Like politics and Deuce not getting on the field, politics in which way? Because it's interesting. I'll wait for your response, 10 Watt. Politically speaking, Deuce could have had an advantage over Rigo. Politically speaking, he was a drafted guy, so he's one of ours. And we know about his pops. The caller meant Barry Manilow. Mr. Dunn says Sproles was quick, strong, and fast. Deuce is definitely quick. But yeah, that's the difference there. I think Sproles was definitely faster and just physically he was stronger because he's bigger. And MJD, man, was a different animal. Different animal. Ooh, I like that, Sean Springer. He said Juice Vaughn. To me, that's your Juice guy. Can they use him in that way? Can they find out a way to do it? I will. If not, go get me another dude who traditionally can do running back things and get you some juice. Beetlejuice was his name. That's a good one too. Even god damn, Rolo, come on, man. He said even Willie Walker don't want Deuce Vaughn. Stop. Y'all need to stop doing this to our guys, man. Nacho, close us out, man. Yeah, he has no creativity. Nacho, you live, brother.
My man, Sky. How you doing, my man?
I'm good.
Great show as usual. Hey, listen. I'm a Deuce fan. I love the guy. Love what he did, his body of work in college, and the frustrating part is, do you feel that we will finally, hopefully, be able to really blend him into our offense as it sounds like we're doing? Do you think this is the year that we're going to actually utilize and give him an opportunity to really showcase what he's able to do?
I have to be honest. I never can fake it with y'all. Asking me this June 7th, 2024, no. Give me here it goes right here. Let's see what happens when they get out there to camp, right? Let's see. Let's see what happens in the preseason. Let's see where he falls on the depth chart. And then maybe if Deuce Vaughn is going crazy and he's your RB3, now we talking, Nacho. Now I feel like they ain't got a choice because he's dressed every week and he's part of the game plan. If Deuce Vaughn's RB4, practice squad, obviously practice squad, no. If Deuce Vaughn's inactive, nah. So it's really a wait and see approach on how they decide to use him. Is Deuce Vaughn going to be a pass game guy? Because that changes my opinion too. Yeah, then now they can get him involved. Look at that. I mean, what the? I'm sorry, Nacho. I'm just watching. They were not blocking for this dude.
Yes, thank you. To kind of piggyback from what you're saying, I truly felt that last season, it takes snaps for a running back to kind of get going and get warmed up, and it just seemed like they just kind of utilized him, kind of dink and dunk here and there. Okay, you know what? He's not doing it, or he's not cutting. Yeah, I saw the same thing. I saw that we were just lacking in pass blocking, pass protection, kind of very inconsistent kind of last season. And I don't think he got a fair shot, and I'm hoping that we're going to really take advantage of it now. And I'm excited about the fact that it's now with
Chuma,
with the West
y'all
Coast.
See Chuma pull? Chuma has no oomph when he pulls, man. All right.
No, he doesn't. Right, with McCarthy's West Coast and Dak and buddy and that second-year offense. I'm hoping that if they are starting to find other avenues for Deuce.
In general, Nacho, I'll say that. I'm with you. I hope in year 2 of this McCarthy offense, they're finding other avenues of their offense. And I will say this about McCarthy and his approach each offseason, from what he says, they're always tweaking. Like, I will give them that. They're always tweaking. It's just a matter of, can they find something they can use consistently throughout the year that they can, and we're talking about run game, that can carry over into the postseason.
Right? And hey, listen, I'm good with bringing back Zeke for that psychological, inspirational in the locker room. You know, you got him and Dak back.
He's going to be huge in the locker room now.
I'm good with that. I'm hopeful, with this offense moving forward. I think we have more depth on the offensive line. We're going to have more youth, and I just think we have more talent now. I'm excited about Zimmer. I'm excited about the defense and the direction that it can go. I know there's a lot of people going one way and the other about Zimmer. He might get a one-year shot, who knows. But I feel that at least he's going to bring some stability to that room and some accountability and
for sure.
Alignment. We need that, and whether it's 9 or 11 games, whatever it might be, I like the fact that we're not hyped up. Most people are not expecting the Cowboys to really, kind of do much as we have in the last few seasons. I like that, and maybe that's what we need moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you got for the show, Nacho?
But I'm excited. Hey, Sky, I'm gonna leave you with one thing. I got my tickets already. God willing, if everything goes well between now and October, I will take my first little bucket list road trip. Sunday Night Football.
Hey.
Our Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will be there live.
You going to Pittsburgh?
I'm going to Pittsburgh for the first time in my life, so I'm really truly excited.
Hit the South Side, man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hit the South Side if you want to, have a good time. They got a casino across the street. Okay. It's not far from the everything is pretty close to the stadium that you need to be close to the stadium. The actual like inner city, like the where the stadium's at, the downtown, is beautiful. The rest of Pittsburgh look like Stilton, PA, if you're from Stilton. but the downtown area is it's nostalgic. The whole city is really nostalgic. It's a still city, right? But downtown is beautiful, man. I think that's a nice stadium they have, and the South Side is pretty. And I think they upgraded somewhere around that Riverside too. It's nice down there, bro. You'll enjoy yourself.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that. No, that'd be great.
Just don't venture outside of that.
Thank you.
All right, bro.
All right. You have a blessed day.
You too, man. You too. Pittsburgh. I'm looking at the schedule. When he said October, I'm like, oh, you better come. You going to San Fran, or you coming for the Lions game? You going to Pittsburgh? Oh, they changed. That's how you know I'm way behind. I didn't even know they changed their stadium name. Acrisure Stadium. Ugh. Nah, Rolo, they say this about Pittsburgh fans because I hated them when I was up at school. You could wear your gear in Pittsburgh, man. You could wear your gear up there. They obviously get drunk for sure. I'm a little biased though. Haven't been up there a lot. The Guru said, "Can we ever finally get this O-line coach situation fixed? We've been through several past O-line coaches and schemes past years." Well, TBD, bro. Terrence Steele did bring up that, hey, second year, we're ahead of where we were last year. Hopefully things are a little bit better. But yeah, the O-line, I get so jealous when certain teams, hey, talking about the Steelers, Dick LeBeau, right? Dom Capers at one point with the Packers. Bill Callahan, how long was he with? What was he with the Browns? Felt like he was with the Browns for a while. But we can go to Mike Munchak when he was with Tennessee for a while. Stoutland in Philly. Like, why can't we find one of those that here for a long time? Tomlin probably got a guy that's the same way. And the reason why I say that is because it kind of goes back to what one of the commenters said, where we're kind of always having these different type of scheme fits all the time because of all these coaches that come in and out. When you look at some of these organizations, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, at one point Indianapolis was like that too. San Fran now. Kansas City, great one. The longevity with coaches, and obviously you have to be good, but with schemes and what they want, it's so much easier to get these guys in and out, whether it be free agency or the draft. And if you miss, it's like, all right, we know what we want. We're not really, that guy just didn't work out. We'll get a guy that's like him, and maybe he's better between the ears. Maybe he's faster, maybe he's stronger, whatever. But with Dallas, it's like we're always, all right, man, Dan Quinn likes this. Mike Zimmer likes this. Kellen Moore likes this. Mike McCarthy likes this. Chris Richard likes this. Rob Ryan likes this. Mike Nolan likes this. Rod Marinelli likes this. Joe Philbin. Mark Colombo. Bill Callahan. I get it. It's part of the league and life. But because we don't have a true foundation up here, meaning at the top, like I said, with the Baltimores, like, you know what you're getting from Baltimore, from Pittsburgh, from Kansas City, from San Fran. You know, honestly, it doesn't matter who they bring in as coach, because that coach got to fit their culture. You don't fit here, it don't work. We morph cultures and philosophies like chameleons. And one year it's this type of culture. One year it's this type of culture. One year it's this philosophy. This year this philosophy. And we get these leftovers, right? And I think that's what that commenter was talking about. And to Will McClay's credit, man, he does a fantastic job. All right, this is what this guy wants. Let me go get him. And it works out, doesn't work out. But most of the time, he drafts very well. Ties all the way back to up here, man. Do you have a foundation that you can build upon no matter who's under? And you bring in those type of guys that fit that philosophy and fit that culture. Now, under Jason Garrett, how many offensive line coaches did you have? How many offensive play callers? How many? It was. JG could have been a fine assistant somewhere. All right, let's get to shots. Hey, Bud Dro, I don't know, you from Stilton? Shout out to you. I ain't lying. If you go around Pittsburgh, like outside of the inner city, it reminds me of Stilton, Pennsylvania. It just does. Ton of hills, and obviously Stilton got the steel mill there too. Let's get to some supers. I think I actually read most of the super. All right, the one super I didn't read was from Lee. Lee was like, y'all think Sky fired up now?
Super chat.
Watch a game with him. Lee, I've warned many of people. Every place we go during the season for Game Day Live, I quite literally have to warn the bartenders, the servers, depending how close you are, the fans around me. Like, I'm not one of them fans that's yelling out F this and F that out in public, right? I'm not doing that. Every year I tell y'all, man, if you want to have fun watching the game, especially if I ain't on duty, sometimes I'll be like, man, I just want to fan out during the game. But it's so hard to get, my emotions through the roof. And I have to click stream right away. Right? And I got to now get back into my professional bag and break this thing down. Sometimes I need a few minutes, man. Especially when I'm pissed off. But doing this, I've learned how to be able to control my emotions during these times. Playoff losses, especially, man. The playoff losses, you know how hard it is to come on here, but I really want to snap. I really want to get it out, but I can't. Yeah, all right, man, let's break this thing down and all this and all that. I'm not the type that's about to throw things. And when I say snap, I mean just, I would like to yell. Can't really do that on air all the time. I'm not that type of content creator. There's plenty of those. And it's entertaining, trust and believe me. Matt says, Scott, on another level watching games. I love it, man. Sway, I'm a work in progress, bro. He working on me. Having Jesse also helps because Jesse's a total opposite, bro. This is what Jesse do. Some crazy play just happened. Right. I don't even think he clapped. I mean, he's not a fan. He's admitted that, but shit, show some emotions. Anyway, Coach of Vultures, yeah, man. All right, look, man, this was a fantastic mailbag segment. Appreciate the questions from everybody. If you missed it, run this back. Good calls, too. Good conversations. The chat, as always, was lit. Do me a favor. Share this for those who may have missed their Cowboys morning coffee. Maybe we will call it that. And get ready to tune in for the rest of the day to all the Cowboys content creators out there. All right. It is Friday. If you ain't got no job, you ain't got nothing to do, don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble out there this weekend. We have hit the dead period, and I'm talking to Cowboy fans. Or I'm sorry, Cowboy players. This is the scariest time, according to people in the NFL, because they're not here. They're not in your facility. There's no practice. They're out doing their own thing. This is where it gets really scary. But I trust the locker room. I trust these guys. I think they'll be fine. Hopefully we don't have a Rashid Rice situation on our hand. And then by the time we get to July, we're onward. Now, I don't know exactly what the schedule will be like moving forward. I'm still going to be here every week. It's just a matter of the hows. I'll be talking to our guys about that because what I don't like to do, I don't like to give you a bunch of fluff, man. I don't like it. And it gets tough in this point in time when it's dead period. But I do have segments and things that we'll do, series and things like that we'll get through. And hopefully you guys enjoy them. But I'm not going to be on here just giving you fluff. Won't do it. I aim for quality content even in a dead period. And if that means I got to space it out a little bit, then it means I got to space it out a little bit. That's all I'm saying. With that said,
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I hope zero toxic. Over, under arrest. 0. That's a big number, too. We don't normally have 2. Hey, contract news will be awesome, man. Will be awesome. Be out there. Love y'all. Peace. So just saw somebody say they're buying new TVs every year. I'll be damned. I never get the break the TV type fan.